Welcome to the Happy Humanoids Perspective, where your beliefs are challenged, thoughts provoked, and where you may find your happy place whether you like it or not.
And here are your hosts, Edith and Miles.
Woohoo! Woo! I think that's their thing every time. It's like, woohoo!
Yeah.
Homer Simpson.
Hello, everyone.
He has our back.
Yeah.
Welcome,
Hello.
everyone, to our show.
Yes.
My name is Miles Keever. I'm an Access Consciousness Certified Facilitator, and I'm joined here with my lovely wife.
Yes, my name is Edith Ball, and I'm a CCF. Let's do it faster.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
So,
today.
yes, today is our 58th show, and the title is, Are You Living the Infinity Loop of Stress? So stress is like, from my perspective, like this driving force of this reality. It's like a reference point that we use to gauge our day. Not always, but it seems like there is a lot of that. About how you doing, well, my stress level is pretty low, or I'm having a pretty good day, or there's so much about stress that's sort of embedded into the formula of living in this reality. And that's the loop. It's like it's almost like the platform of how we make our choices and how we judge ourselves. It's like an intense judgment, I would say. For stress for me is like an intensity of judgment. So it's like the infinity loop. If you think about the demolition cars, they have the loop that goes around like this, and all the cars, they're eventually going to hit each other. And that's just kind of what happens with stress. We're eventually going to crash and burn and like disassemble or demolish some aspect of our living, and it doesn't really create anything but judgment. It's just another sense of judgment. So we're going to talk about that today, about the different aspects of stress and how we use stress to demolish some of our the creative possibilities that we have in our life.
When I think about stress, I think about destroying our body. When we do this lately, I chose to function from a lot of stress because I had a lot to do. And this is one of the first response in my body when I have a lot of things to do in a short period of time. The stress will just go higher. And we talk about that today during our walk, and it's about what do you make significant. It's about that. It's about we create stress when we make something significant. For me is I won't have the time to do anything. So I went from a conclusion. Sometimes we create stress from a conclusion. And I created my reality from this point, from that too. And since I'm leaving tomorrow for Europe for 1 month, I could see something very big. I put it so significant. So I asked myself, if I was leaving for 1 week, would it be the same? And I was like, no. I said, maybe I make it significant. And since I became aware of that, all the stress is gone. Of course, I have things to do and I do my stuff, but I don't need to do it under the stress. And there is this slide too, if we do things under the stress, that we will be better. And so everywhere you believe that if you do things under stress, you'll be better. Well, create and destroy it all times a godzillion.
Yes, right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, on and shorts, boys and beyonds.
And I would like to add something here.
Yeah.
What if you become aware instead of being stressed? And sometimes to become aware, we have to create more movement in our body. We have to create more vitality, to be more vital, to be aware of. And does it have to be stress? No. It can just be to be more alive, to activate more energy in your body, to be aware. And does it have to be stress? It can be, but it doesn't have to be.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere you believe that to be to the point and to be you or to be alive, you have to live under stress, or you have to use stress for you to be alive. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, uncreate and destroy it all times a godzillion.
Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pocket, online, shorts, boys and beyonds. Yeah, I was reading something from what Gary said today. It was, or not, he didn't say this today, but I read something about what he was saying about stress. Really fascinating to me. He said that stress is a creation that we do to either make us wrong or make us right for the choices that we're making. And I was like, what? What was that? And he also said that if we create stress in our life, it is a way that we think that we're doing a lot, and we give ourselves importance. Like well, I'm very important because I'm very stressed. I've got so much to do. And it's a way of also maybe controlling people and making things significant, like Edith, like you were saying. And it's like, I'm so stressful. I'm accomplishing a lot of things. I must be important. And also that people should be doing things for me, which is bizarre. It's just the idea of being in this energy of stress. It's like it somehow takes priority of being in a space of joy, or being in a space of lightness, or being in a space of just creating from a space of relaxation or ease. Quite a few years ago, I was living in an ashram up in New York, and I had this big responsibility that I put on myself to manage the kitchen, the ordering, and I also was doing the part of the food service aspect of the ashram, which we had a lot of people there. And so I gave myself this job of, it's so important that I do everything perfectly and all this stuff, and I am so important there at the ashram. And anyway, it was just very interesting to reflect on that. And one day I was out with some very good friends of mine. We were out off the ashram premises, and we were out, I think we were climbing or doing something outdoors, and we were having fun, and I was like having planned about a 2-hour excursion, and I was actually gone for maybe 3 hours, and I was so stressed because of the importance I gave to my job at the ashram that I had to get back. And I was like, I've got to get back. And then Alexis and Noah were there with me, and they were driving. And I was like, I had this intensity of stress, and I had to get back to my job to make sure that everything didn't just blow up and, go to crap, because my importance was so important there, so significant. And interesting that Noah said, wow, he was talking to Alexis, he said, wow, can you really feel that energy of stress? Wow. So I was like, what? And I didn't really even consider that it was something that I was creating, or it was something that it was affecting other people, or any other aspect other than my own importance and my own priority of getting back and doing my job. And it was just a wake-up call for me, like, wow, what a jerk. I was like I was like emitting this energy of stress, so much so that my best friends were like, dude, you're not even fun to be around. And I wasn't even aware of it because I was so in priority that this is a thing to do. And but yeah, it was just like there's this energy of being in stress that it takes priority of everything else. Somehow we give it that priority, and it's just a lie. It's just an excuse to make the choices that we're making and justify them. So everywhere in any lifetime or this lifetime that you've been stressed and been justified for being stressed because there's so much going on in your life, or you're so important, or that we're so important that we can't stop and just choose to be in this presence of allowing this greatness to evolve, we destroy and uncreate all of that times godzillion.
Yes, right and wrong, about protocol, 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. And if you find yourself in a space of stress, ask yourself, okay, what am I holding on to here? What is it that I think of? Is there a conclusion here about something? Have I made a conclusion before I end something? Or is it yours? that can be that too. Are you about perceiving the stress that people function from?
Exactly.
And not yours. So yeah, this is because stress is an energy, as everything else. And if you have a kind of stress in you, hey, what can you, is it yours? Yeah, it's about asking that question too. So yes. So yeah, so everywhere, so all the lies that you maintain in place to keep you stressed, to keep you under, well, uncreate and destroy it all times a godzillion.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pot and pock on and shorts, boys and girls. Because, it really just is a choice. It's like it's a choice for me to be stressed. And at the moment when we're stressed and we've got a lot going on, not to discard that. I mean, we have a lot that's like, Edith, you have a lot going on today. And the last 2 weeks, you've been really busy trying to get things accomplished that you wanted to get accomplished. And yet there's this idea that because we have so much to do, that it's not that we don't have any other choice than to be stressed. It's like this idea that being stressed equals getting things done, or being stressed equals being successful, or being stressed. I mean, anything could add anything to that. And like, I wasn't even aware of like you were saying about it's just energy. I wasn't even aware that it was like something that I was creating. I wasn't even acknowledging that I was creating that stress. And how powerful can we acknowledge ourselves to be that we can shift the energy of a whole room by the stress that we bring to there? Like that's a capacity that maybe we're not acknowledging. And what could we choose differently to shift the energy of the room in a way that would be more expansive and more creative and more light and fun? And also the energy of being stressful is not, it's like the natural repellent for people. Like if I create stress, whether it's finances or things I need to do or a job I have or whatever that is, if I bring that stress with me, I'm not so attractive. Like I'm not seen as an attractive individual because there's like this energy of stress that people recognize and maybe don't want to be around. It's just like there's energy of like, Gary and Dane, they don't seem stressed. They've got a whole lot going on, and like people just want to be around them. I'm sure they have their stressful moments, but it doesn't hang on. They just like move on with their day and whatever. And it's just like people flock to them. And imagine if Gary was stressed all the time, and where he was just uptight and stressed, and how different would his life be by being that way? And one of the things I want to say is like it's not. If we are choosing stress and we acknowledge that we're stressed, it's like asking questions. What is this? Like you're saying, it doesn't belong to me. Like if my friends weren't aware that I was so stressed, they just maybe thought it was their own, they would become stressed. But they were so aware. They're like, dude, you're stressed. Like get over it. So it's like having that awareness to ask a question. Okay, what is it? How is this serving me? What am I holding on to that's creating this? Or what is it what's valuable about this that I'm not acknowledging? So everywhere that we're using stress as a way to put up barriers, to not receive, to repel people around us, or to isolate us into this space of there's only me in the world. So everything that is, we destroyed and create all of that times a godzillion.
Yes, right and wrong, good, bad, but talk all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And the stress is created when you try to put in order something that is chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I was trying to do with me preparing to leave tomorrow. I was trying to put, to order everything, to do it in a certain way. And when I realized that, I said, oh my God, and it seems like to allow myself to be in the chaos of the preparation of that creates so much more space.
Yeah.
And so much more possibility and so much more ease for me. Because what I was trying to do is, let's do it this way. And then I do this. And then I do this. I was ordering things in a certain way. And just imagine when we try to order something, we try to limit it. We try to put a limit. We contract. I was contracting myself. I was contracting the things that I had to do. And when just by thinking about allowing all of that to be chaotic and to trust that it's chaotic and it will be done, and it's like so much easier to do. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the magic of having access to other perspective instead of thinking a certain way and opening up to this, like, hey, it's chaos here. And just my body is relaxing, like, and I'm much more calm today than I was yesterday.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I'll just interrupt here. Like, your energy is so much different today than since we talked about the making things significant. And you said about if I was only gone for 1 week, what would that be? How would that be different? And yeah, it's just like yesterday and the day before and previous days, it's like you were so focused on getting things done. I just want to kind of stay out of your way to let you do what you needed to do. And it wasn't like, it was just like this, not a barrier, but there was like this, I know that you need to stay focused and do what you need to do. So I wasn't really engaging and offering to do things in a way that, I just want to kind of stay out of your way. And today it's like, you're much more like interactive. And even though you're going tomorrow, you still have a lot to do. You're much more interactive, and I can help you in different ways. And it's just so much more ease in that, And it's just, it's nice. It's like you're willing to receive more, you're willing to be available. And it's like, that contributes to my life, and it contributes to your life and what you're creating as well.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's about being focused. One of the greatest limitations. I studied in coaching for 3 years, and I learned how to focus. How? If I knew then what I know now, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's so much easier to, and it's about this willingness for you to choose. You have the choice to keep yourself to stay in stress, or to choose to open up to other possibilities and to live your life differently. That's what was for me lately, was like, okay, it's not fun to be in that space. Geez, I'm going for a month and it's not even fun for me. Like, what is wrong with me? What is this? And this is everything that I impose myself, the pressure I put myself in. The pressure, it's another lie that you buy into. And I invite you to go deeper with that and asking yourself question about, okay, what is it that I hold on to? Because the stress is about holding on to something that we believe in.
Significant,
to significant importance, to points of view that are significant and important for you. And what if you can do the same thing from a different energy? Because you can do it. It's just the energy that you choose to be in that is often led by your thoughts, feeling, and emotion if you don't allow yourself to be aware of whatever is there. So it's a choice. Here, it's really a choice for me was like, okay, is there something else for me? Like, my body was tired yesterday, my body was tired, and okay, what else is possible? How does it get any better than this? Are those questions that you can ask here? What would it take? What question can I ask here to find more ease? Because that's another thing I want to create in my life, more ease. Is there another way for me to approach this? To approach whatever I live in my life that will create so much more ease, and everything that doesn't allow you to know, be, perceive, and receive this, will you uncreate and destroy it all times a godzillion.
Yes, right. Wrong, good, and bad, pot and pot calling, short, was meows. I really like that access for that. It's simple to choose the questions and to have another perspective. And it doesn't have to be complicated, like just what you're saying. Like, if I'm stuck in something, it's like, okay, what else is possible here? That's a great question. That's a great way to get me out of this space of wherever I'm stuck. If I'm willing to not be stuck, because there's so much also that I recognize that I'm not willing to let go of this energy of stress, because there's something about it that it seems very important or real, or like it creates the illusion that I'm alive, that I'm living, because I have this stress. There's almost a tangible energy that I am here and I'm living. There's something that associated with that. And I know that in the past, when I've been like so consumed by stress and so like in this space of I can't see anything else, I'm so far down in this well of stress that it looks as though nothing's going to change. This is the life that I'm going to be having. And it only takes, this has happened to me. I don't have an example right now, but this happened to me so much that someone comes along and says something or does something. If I'm stuck in a project or an idea that I can't resolve, someone says, "Oh, you just go and do this, just do a little tweak." All of a sudden, all this huge cloud of the illusion of stress is just gone. I'm like, wow, I just created all of that crap as though it was so real and so significant and so much part of my life, but it's not. It's just an illusion. And asking those simple questions of, okay, what else is possible here? What is it that I'm not aware of here that if I was aware of it, well, I would have a very different perspective? Or what am I not willing to let go of that would create a lot more ease here? Or what's the importance of having stress in my life at this moment? What is it that I'm not acknowledging about this stress that could create something great for me? So all those questions, they don't have to be complex questions. They can just be so simple, just enough to shift our energy, if we're willing to shift it, to get a different perspective. So everywhere that we're making our life complicated and stressed and important and significant enough to that we don't have the life that we desire, we please destroy and uncreate all of that times gazillion.
Right and wrong, bad, protocol, and short spores and neons. What if when you live with stress, if it's yours, of course, because sometimes it's not ours, it's because you live from something that is not true for you. Because when we live something that is true for us, there is lightness, there's expansion, and is there some stress into this? It can be activation of an energy, but is it really stress?
Right.
I remember I read a book about the guy who, he called his book Trillionaire. He was, in his life, he is someone who was achieving, he was always in a space to always creating his life. And when there were moments in his life where it was more stagnant, he found something to do. Like he could go to Spain where there is, when they put all the bulls in the street and people run.
That's so much fun to do.
Yeah, that was one of the things he was doing for him to stretch himself, to allow himself to come out of the comfort zone he was living from. And after that, he was able to have access to something else for his life. So that was his way to do it. He was stretching himself to have access to something bigger for him. So if that is talking to you, hey, ask a question about that. What is it that I can do to stretch myself that will allow myself to have access to a bigger life than I have right now? If your life is like the same and all that, and follow the awareness of that. And what would I create? Is it time for me to do this? And it's all about asking questions and following the awareness. If you want to change something, if you want to create something different in your life, that's a great way to do it.
Yep.
So, and if you, there are people who desire to have their life change, but they don't want to do anything else. They always want to do the same thing. Well, if it's you, maybe you have a choice to make here. Yeah, you have to, if you desire something different, maybe you have to do different choices in your life. So everything that is and everything that brought up, we now uncreate and destroy it all times it got zillion.
Yes, right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all night shorts, boys and beyonds. I have this intensity of pain on my nose. I don't really. So speaking of bodies, and stress on my body, it's like one of the things that happens with exercise, because I have been an extremist, I guess, with exercise for my younger years and doing things to extremes. And I realized through some events and occurrences that maybe my body doesn't really like to be so extremely stressed, And the idea of the one good thing about stress is that it does maintain the healthy bones. Like if gravity is stress on our body, so it creates a resistance to our body to continue to build and maintain and develop the resistance that's there. That's like weightlifting or running. That's just going against the resistance to become stronger. And there's also an attitude in how we exercise. It's like I see people, I used to be a runner and a cyclist and do a lot of things extreme. And now when I see people that run or they're on the bike and I see that the stress in their body is like their body is just screaming for them to stop. And it's not the thing that my point of view, that is good for their body. It's like, it's so stressful and their body is so much screaming to stop that there's energy that we must put our body under stress to become a certain way or whatever. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't do cycling or running for long distances, but for me, I think it's the idea of doing it to the place of enjoyment and asking your body what it likes to do, and not coming from a space of have to, or this is what reality says, you got to stress our body. If it doesn't kill me, it makes me stronger kind of idea. And I don't believe in that anymore. I believe that our body is really, it enjoys movement. It so much enjoys movement and play and the expression of its, exploring the expression of our body. The animation of it is really incredible. But to the point where we're pushing our body and stressing it and creating injury, that's usually an indication that maybe it wants to do something different. So asking our body how it wants to be under stress, like under resistance, I would say, more than stress, would be more helpful. So everywhere that we're using our body, everywhere we're creating stress on our body as a way to justify, in order to punish ourselves for not doing what we think this reality says that we should be doing, we destroy and uncreate all of that times Godzillion.
Yes, right and wrong, that papak, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And when you live a situation of stress, ask yourself, okay, am I making something stronger or bigger than I am? Not stronger, but bigger than I am. And like me, 2 or 3 days ago, I knew what I had to do, and I went into the conclusion that I won't have enough time to do everything. And I make that bigger than my capacity to deal with things. And how much of your life is like this? You are the most powerful person in your life. You are the most potent person in your own life. And what if it's about doing things differently, approach things differently from another space, from another energy that will allow you to create everything, not from stress and contraction, but from a total allowance and total awareness and being totally present and do whatever is required for you to do. Don't you think that you will create so much more this way?
I think so.
Under the stress. Yeah, that's the thing. And we believe in this reality. No. I remember where I was working before in my work. For me, it was when I'm stressed, I will create more, I will produce more.
Mm-hmm.
But that was not true. I thought it was that. And once I had my bars run for the first time, and after a month, because I received bars like many times the first month, my body told me, I cannot be stressed. I cannot do this stress anymore. And my first reaction was, hey, we need that stress. And my body says, no, I cannot do this anymore. And this is where I began to realize, oh my God, I was limiting myself by keeping myself in that stressful energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everywhere you believe that the stress, and you can ask question about that. You know, you can ask question if it will create more, if I continue to live my life from stress, or if I continue to do this kind of work from stress, what will my life be in 5 years? And be present to the energy that it will create. And if I choose to do my work or live my life not from that stress, if I don't choose to live my life from that stress, what will my life be in 5 years? And you will have access to the energy. Allow yourself to receive. It's not about imagining. Imagining.
Yeah.
What it will create. It's about receiving the energy of what it will get. And then you can have this awareness. Okay, so if it doesn't work for me, hey, what else can I choose? And if it works for you, hey, the next 10 seconds it works for you. So yeah, and I think we talk about stress today like something that you have to get rid of. It's not about that. It's more about whatever works for you and what doesn't work for you here. I was reading in the new foundation manual, there was something where he said, you desire attention in your life that's going to make it worth living. This tension, does it have to be stress or does it have to be stretch? Yeah. What if, look at the energy there for you. So yeah. On that note, do you have anything else you would like to say?
Well, I like what you were saying about like having the idea of like stress, like maybe even like renaming it and not calling it stress, just like the intensity or the energy of something. And because it's like the idea of stress, it doesn't, when I think of stress, it doesn't create lightness for me. It's not like something that is expansive, but the intensity of something that's much different for me. So yeah, I like that. Just like the idea that we can still use the energy of that, but maybe not calling it, well, for me, I'm just going to try to reword how I think about stress and the intensity of it and go from there. I had some other thought I was going to say, but I don't remember what it was. But yeah, so don't beat yourself up if you don't get it right, whatever, because we're always going to be having that energy and the resistance of things and finding our way through that. Just be easy with yourself, and maybe you will be less stressed, or maybe instead of being stressed for a week, you might be stressed for 3 days, or maybe after a while it'll just be an intensity that you're aware of, and then you can move forward and use that to your advantage. So yeah, thank you for joining us today, and we'll be back again next week. Edith will be in Paris, and I will be here, and we will continue our little shindig. Thanks for listening, and please give us a honk of support by subscribing, commenting, and sharing the show with your friends. Or, if you didn't like the show, please share it with your enemies. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you again next time.
Bye-bye, everyone.